in light of the results of the census, in which it appears that less than 50% of people in England and Wales call themselves Christian, perhaps the feast of Andrew, an apostle, sent out to preach to the ends of the earth, is an opportunity to reflect on why this statistic is disappointing. I think the first place we must start is motivation. What is it that makes us want people to be disciples of Christ? What is it that pushed Andrew and all the apostles to the ends of the earth, to the ends of their lives, in order to make Christ better known and loved? This motivation we might see in how Jesus first calls Peter and Andrew, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men and women." And we can refer to the commission at the end of Matthew's Gospel. This is from Matthew. And at the end of Matthew's Gospel, again, the idea, go make disciples of all nations. But is it simply about following that command? So what is the motivation? Is it a corporate model, one might say? A brand problem that we want to get the most people to come to our churches? And so in that way, we don't want, why would people join a sinking ship, I suppose? And so we must reinvent ourselves, that sort of thinking. But that doesn't appear particularly to be what Jesus means. The metaphor of being a fisherman is found in Jeremiah, and yet perhaps that model of coming to find people is not the best one either, because in Jeremiah, God says, "Behold, I am sending for many fishers, says the Lord, and they shall catch them. And afterward I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and every hill and out of the clefts of the rocks." There seems to be a rather imperialist nature to this preaching, and we're all very sensitive to that sort of thing, particularly today. Is our motivation to preach simply what academics call epistemic dissonance, i.e. it's rather uncomfortable that some people don't think the same way that we do? We all want everyone to be on the same page, the echo chamber that people speak of. That seems a rather empty reason for wanting people to be Christians, to be disciples of Christ. I don't know about other orders, but of course it's useful for us Dominicans to go back to the example of St. Dominic. And Dominic's simple motivation for giving his life to preaching the gospel was simply because he didn't want people to go to hell. In other words, he had the same desire of God, that all be saved. In other words, he loved them. This is the command of Christ at the Last Supper. "By this shall all know that you are my disciples, because you love one another." If our motivation for making people Christians is because we love them, then the Christian news is shown to be truly good. We might then have a response to paraphrase Zechariah the prophet, looking to that day when the nations of every tongue will take hold of our robes, saying, "Let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you." It's just simply what I heard from another Dominican, Paul Murray, but I think he was quoting a third Dominican when he said this: "If you don't love the people to whom you preach, don't preach to them. Preach to yourself."